Welcome to a tasting of this week's new coffee release from Blending Room, which happens to be Castanhas from Brazil. So this is a naturally processed mixed cultivar coffee that's grown between 900 and 1100 meters above sea level. And one that when I purchased, I was looking for a coffee that was predominantly about texture. Texture and a word that we talk about a lot in coffee, and that's smoothness. So what do I mean by smoothness? Well, I mean roundness in the cup. I want all the flavors to be homogeneous and delivered to you in a way that you can consume them with ease. So I don't want there to be any dominant finish or dominant acidity. I just want everything to arrive on your palate in a very balanced, circular, round way. And I think of flavor in a sphere, and sometimes like a rainbow as well. So I want that to be harmonious. So that's the sort of methodologies that I then used when I came to thinking about our roast profile. So as with every week, I have to perform a roast for our subscribers, and in this case it was 2 batches, 2 9-kilo batches, with then a roast or 2 for our e-commerce customers and those who purchase from me at the market in Beverley that I do every Saturday. So going into the new roast or the new batch without any prior information, I would have to fall back on some experience based on previous times that I may have roasted this coffee, which I have, or roasted coffees that are similar cultivars or processing methods or altitudes or geographies. Now, I have roasted Castanhas before. This is probably the 3rd season that I've purchased coffee from Falcon Specialty, who are the importers of this into the UK and have roasted this for my customers. So I know how this coffee works. There will be some idiosyncrasies based on each season, and small differences in the growing season, and therefore differences in the product in the cup. And also, to be fair, because it's a mixed cultivar, the construct of that mix too, performed by the farmer. Anyhow, I will have had some experience with this coffee before, and even though I go straight into production batches, I will be able to execute what I want in the coffee fairly well, because on that pro bat I have been roasting for 10 years this autumn. So the approach with this was I wanted my drop temperatures to be around 200 degrees Celsius, which is fairly normal for me. I approached this with 95% gas, tapering down to 90% gas within the first minute or so, just to make sure that I have enough delta T on my rate of rise early on in the roasting phase, but not too much that I'm hitting a slightly less dense coffee with too much energy. Anyway, so I sought getting to 160 degrees in roughly 5 minutes, which I achieved. It was 5¼ minutes for this, and then seeking a first crack time at around 9 minutes, and then a development time thereafter, which happened to be 1:35 for this, which again on that pro bat, looking for balance in the cup. That's kind of the zones that I like to be in. Any longer, you can sometimes get a little bit of roast in the cup, and that's to do with the expulsion of air and the type of system that it is. Anyway, so 10 minutes 35 was roughly the total roast time with this. End temperature of 205 degrees Celsius based on my bean probe, and the bean probe on my probat is located within the bottom quadrant of my open door. The roast, once I got to 160 degrees Celsius, I tapered down in 10% increments between that and first crack, and I made sure that I was going into first crack with 18% gas, and first crack for me on this roaster is about 198.5. Something which I've noticed on the lowering is very different, but I'll come to talking about the lowering and my roasting on that another day. However, what does it taste like? Let's have a go. Right, okay, so with this, smoothness, balanced. is exactly what it is. It's beautifully sweet. There is a very dominant caramel characteristic with this. So what I'm imagining now is this caramel center with a little bit of milk chocolate on the finish, and then around that's wrapped this ever so slight cherry or stone fruit type of fruitiness. Now, it's not a fruity coffee. It is a caramelly, milk chocolatey coffee built around texture. But it does have a little tickle of fruit in there, which is lovely. It allows the cup to not be just plainer in its flavor, and it gives it more texture. It gives it more interesting things in the cup for those who certainly drink it as black. Add milk to it, you're going to get caramels, you're going to get lots of milk chocolates. Anyway, so a really delightful coffee, one that if I was a brewer of cafetiers and I like to sit at home on a Sunday morning reading my paper whilst getting through a litres worth of coffee, this will be right up your street. Same too, for those who enjoy espresso drinking, this would be a fantastic both espresso and milk pairing drink. So you guys who like flat whites, this is going to be one for you. However, I'm drinking this as a filter coffee, and I have to say that it is really well balanced as a filter. Even now, it's a little cooler since I've started talking about this. The stone fruit really comes through, and again, that texture is sitting very nicely on my palate. So for batch brewers, great. Even if you run a cafe, like this would be a fantastic coffee for easy daily driving, bulk brewing for any customer profile. Anyhow, just to recap, Castanhas from Brazil, mixed cultivar, naturally processed, think smooth, think caramels, milk chocolates, and a smidge of stone fruit. An absolute delight, super versatile, keenly priced, because that's what we do here. Fill your boots. Cheers.